What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 287 of the allegedly award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB, it's Deej, it's Throwback Weekend, and you said it. I'm going to quote you. I cooked up one of the best logos in company history, in my opinion. For the ones that get it, they get it. For the ones that don't, they don't. But this is their opportunity to get it, as it's a new episode of the
Let him cook. In the kitchen, the lab, wherever you want to put him, he was there. He was cooking, and you better let him do it.
Merch will hopefully be coming soon, and best believe I'll be wearing the shit out of a shirt, hoodie, whatever it may be with that logo on it. The OTB Throwback logo for 2023 is here. Should we have it for the whole episode, or should we just have it for when we kick to our Denver preview, Deej?
It's up to you. I'm here for both. I'm here for all. I think all the whole thing. The whole thing. Why not?
And
Why not?
3, 2, 1. There it is. In the top right corner if you're watching on YouTube.
Ooh.
Smash that like button for the new Throwback logo.
I'm downloading the logo.
Or I love what Pro Lacrosse Talk said about the PLL Throwbacks, which we'll get into in the show. Called them Throwbacks. Throwbacks because there's no real like throwback for anything with the PLL. They're like fake throwback, faux back. I was like, oh, that's clever.
No,
that's clever.
That's stupid.
Because outside of the cannons, there's nothing to throw it back to.
Hey, them cannons though.
We'll get into that. I need that rope hat ASAP, brother.
Because they definitely threw it back.
Man, we're gonna get into recapping Baltimore, get into Denver. We're gonna get into the PLL just as a whole with the throwbacks, and we're gonna get into the NLL Free Agency and a trade that broke the internet once again. Lacrosse world just breaking the internet week after week after week. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads at OTB LaxPod. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you decide to consume your podcast from. Really helps the show continue to grow, helps us do really dope stuff, and helps more people find Outside the Box, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia. So go subscribe to the podcast feed on your podcast app of choice, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show every single week. You get live streams, every podcast on our network in video form, clips, shorts, interviews, all of that. If it's video content, it's 99% of the time going on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. We are currently at 522 subscribers as of this recording. We need to get to 600 for sure by the end of August, and need to get to 1,000 in less than a month, because we gotta start looking at flights, brother.
I've been started looking. Don't worry, I've been started looking. I tried.
Alaska's
to
calling.
put my faith in the people. I tried to put my faith in the people for so long. I've been looking though.
Need to get to those milestones. 600 for sure by the end of this month has to happen. That's a company-wide initiative. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. And like I said, Throwback OTB merch. will be available hopefully in the coming days. We're sending it over to PHI Apparel Company tonight as we record this on Thursday. And you guys can go and get your merch from the best goddamn merch partners in the land, PHI Apparel Company. You're going to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to a PLL weekend, hanging out at the bar, going to an NLL game this upcoming season, just going out and shooting in an OTB shirt or hoodie. You're going to stand out with your Outside the Box podcast merch, with your Underground Sports Philadelphia merch. Right now and anytime, you can go to phiapparel.co and use code Underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. And in honor of former Detroit Tiger and current Philadelphia Philly, Michael Lorenzen throwing a no-hitter on Wednesday night, PHI Apparel Company right now, if you are a Phillies fan, through August 17th, you can get 22% off all Phillies gear at PHI Apparel Company with code NONO, N-O-N-O, to get 22% off all Phillies merch in honor of Michael Lorenzen's no-hitter, as he wears number 22 for the Philadelphia Phillies. But go get your merch, and we'll let you guys know as soon as it's available that you can go and cop the throwback merch there that you see on the top right corner of your screens if you're watching on YouTube. But Deej, let's get into it. How are you, brother, first and foremost? I know you were bummed about missing Baltimore, but how was Ribfest?
Ribfest was interesting. Okay. So first I'll start by saying getting up on stage was awesome. I got to meet some really cool talent and be their MC and hype them up. And there were a ton of people out. I'll have to show you the drone picture that they got of Friday night, which was the night that I was hosting. And it was insane, the amount of people that were out. But on the flip side of that, I was working the drink ticket booth. Since my job does run the event, I was there as a staff. I was helping drink ticket booth. And last call was 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Pretty standard for an event.
Right,
I would
right.
say.
Especially when it's supposed to end like 11:30. You try and give people about an hour and a half to sober up a little bit, so that at least enough to drive home and be under the legal limit. So my side, which was me, another woman, and the director of the event, we were telling everybody in our line, like, look, it's 10:45. Keep that in mind, or 9:45. Keep that in mind. Last call is at 10. Only buy what you're gonna use unless you're gonna be here tomorrow, because they're still good tomorrow. But you're gonna have to rush over there and get in line and everything before last call hits. But there was another table right next to me of 4 people, which I told them when last call was, but I guess they weren't telling people that. So they're selling people tickets. They couldn't get drinks. Then they sold them tickets after 10 o'clock. And then people were coming up asking for a refund. This is where things got fun. I hope you heard the sarcasm there.
Oh, yeah. That was like fun.
Yeah. So there's apparently the bar were telling people they were going to get refunds, by the way. If you know anything about corporate America, they don't do refunds. So I look around as all these people are coming up and asking about refunds. And guess who was the only person left at the booth? There were 7 of us sitting there. I was the only person left with 0 answers. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I was like, as far as I know, no refunds. You can come back and use your tickets tomorrow. And that's just like what I was telling these people. And like, I just kept radioing for someone to come, and they finally got security, and like the director came back over, and I was like, you want to handle this? And then like this one lady yelled at me, and I was like, ma'am, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. My mom's right over there. If I were you, I would relax just a little bit and talk to me like a normal human being. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a mom too. And I was like, ma'am, relax, because I have not done anything wrong. So there's no reason to yell at me. But beside all that, Rib Fest was good. There were a lot of people there. I just told them they need to put signs up everywhere so that does not happen in the future. And then besides that, man, I'm back to getting out, getting shots on the net and playing the game. That's fun. I'm going to eventually get back into men's league. So I'm in the gym starting on Monday. And then I've been getting shots up starting yesterday. So it feels good, man. I like to play the game. I'm still bummed I wasn't eating crab cakes and watching lacrosse. And
That was a great time.
Good old John Hopkins.
It's a good time. Baltimore truly never disappoints. I think of regular season venues, it's my favorite, and just weekends overall because just the vibes, the people, like it feels like everybody just migrates out to Homewood for Baltimore weekend. It is kind of crazy seeing the difference of being a podcaster versus being like a TikTok, Instagram creator. Because I was hanging out with the boy Connor Eck again. He came out to Baltimore, met some dope people. Met Mitchell Pelkey this weekend. The boy Varo. They were getting mobbed by age range of 10 to 14-year-olds. And I was like, shit, we ain't shit. And then I was walking to go and get food, and I got recognized, which I was like, look at us. Shout out to the boy Off Ball Lex. Met him in person this weekend, which was really dope. Met him and his wife. But awesome weekend. K18 was in the booth. Just great vibes in Baltimore. I don't know what it is, but the energy is there. Oh, and the Shootout for Soldiers gang was there as well. Eric and Alexis. So it was cool catching up with them and seeing them for the first time in a while. Just a great weekend. Once again, Jimmy Seafood, phenomenal vibes. Best in show. If you know me, I'm a crab cake connoisseur. If I see that on your menu, I am 99% obligated to try it, so long as it fits the mold of you should be serving crab cake at your establishment.
And your wallet.
That as well. But Jimmy Seafood is that one weekend a year where I'm like, I'm a fucking founder of a company and I'm going to act as such. And treat myself to
yes, sir.
an incredible meal.
Hey,
I tell everybody
a
it's
nice
like
hotel suite this weekend.
it was very nice, very
Like,
very great. That hotel, even though it's weird. Like Baltimore is one of those cities that things tell you they're far away, but it doesn't feel that way. Like I was a 30-minute drive to Hopkins, but it didn't feel like that whatsoever. And it was only like 15 miles. So it was just one of those weird things where you hit a bunch of like red lights and everything on the way there and just weird traffic patterns.
they ain't got no highway for you to get there.
It's a weird highway situation.
That's why Baltimore dangerous. Okay, move on.
That might be no free ads, but that might be the hotel I stay at indefinitely in Baltimore, so long as it doesn't pull an Albany hotel and disappear next year.
And as long as they don't do it this weekend next year, I will tag along.
That hotel was great, man. Like, you pull into the parking lot, you got your typical parking, and then you go up a little tiny hill and everything, and there's more parking that was directly outside of where my room was. I was like, this is amazing. It was phenomenal. Like, just perfect, like, accommodations and everything. And it was, like, 15-minute ride to the Oriole Stadium, too, when I went on Thursday night.
Beautiful.
Which was great.
Love that.
But yeah, I tell everybody when I talk about crab cakes and everything, I'm like how Dave Portnoy does the pizza reviews. I am that way with crab cakes. So it's not as frequent because of the pricing difference of pizza and crab cakes, but it's crab cakes and fried pickles. Those are the two things that if I see that on your menu, I'm instantly going for it. Jimmy Seafood, though, is the best. No notes. unless like somebody comes out of the clouds with something that tops it, Jimmy Seafood will remain number one on my list until the day I die.
I wish I wasn't such a homo. Mine is 1000% a breakfast sandwich.
You are a big breakfast sandwich guy.
Or biscuits and gravy. This is why my mom says I'm an old man. Like the bowl of chili. Like these are the things I have to try at your restaurant. What is wrong with me? I'm not even the ripe age of 24 yet. Not even.
You're also kind of a big mozzarella sticks guy, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's like your bar food item.
Yeah, that is my warm up item for sure. You got mozz sticks, I'm gonna grab them because like it's almost impossible to mess up a mozz stick. If I bite into your mozz stick and it's bad, I'm going into your kitchen to fight your cook.
And the thing with Jimmy Seafood too, in terms of just an establishment, and this is not a free ad, no free ads, but Jimmy Seafood, like from atmosphere to service to just like the friendliness of their associates and their waiters and waitresses and their staff to the food being just absolutely impeccable. Like it's one of the best restaurants on the planet. And it is one of those things. I was talking to Adam Lamberti, who was there this weekend, the Whipsnakes beat writer, who's from the area. He's like, Jimmy Seafood feels like, because it got so popularized from being on, diners, drive-ins, and dives, having the Guy Fieri stamp of approval and everything, it feels like one of those like tourist trap places that it's like, oh, this is just a tourist thing. But it's actually, like, it is a tourist thing because it is a destination to go to because it has those stamps of approval, but it's actually like quality food, high quality service. Like it fits the label of tourist trap, but it's not a trap. Like it's actually like really, really good. And I love going there every single year. We'll continue to go to Jimmy Seafood for as long as I live, anytime I'm in Baltimore. So shout out to Jimmy Seafood. They're the best in the game, hands down. But Baltimore was a time. Homewood was great. It was hot as all get out down on that turf because the press box was loaded because we had 2 games on ABC. So we had that nice, sweet field access, which was great. No complaints there whatsoever. Oh, and also saw the Barstool Boys, Jordy Dukes, Billy Football. They were down there in the Bar Down Lounge and came over, so I got to catch up with them as well this weekend. But recap from the games we had this past weekend. We almost had it perfect, Deej. We almost had it perfect. The Archers win in overtime because Tom Schreiber, who gave one of the most hilarious press conferences, I think, in recent memory, talking about how the Archers guys train in the shadows. And Connor Fields saying, it's easy to do what I do when you have guys out here that make opportunities for you like this guy. And Tom Schreiber was like, what? He's like, okay, so all those goals you scored, they're mine now. It was the funniest Tom Schreiber I've ever seen. I was like, I need more of this in my life. The Archers win 14-13. Whipsnakes absolutely dominate Chrome 12-5. Redwoods fall in a tough one, 14-12 to Chaos. And then Cannons keep the good times rolling and win 12-8 over the Water Dogs. Both the Archers and Cannons clinch playoff spots this past weekend. So we know 2 of our 7 postseason teams, and potentially both of those teams headed to the Champ Series as well, so long as their back half of the season continues the way that it has these first few weeks here. But your takeaways overall from Baltimore weekend, Deej?
Okay. Gonna go game by game here. I'm gonna go backwards. The one team that should really scare the Archers right now is the Water Dogs. Even though they lost this weekend to the Cannons, it's without DeLuca, who they get back this week. And then without Dylan Ward, who they get back this week. in which DeLuca didn't even have a bad game. How they really lost this game is losing McConvey, going down a midfielder again, which they were able to escape that when they were in Fairfield.
And on top of that, Caraway also got banged up in this game too, which I
so
personally missed. I didn't really see that when it happened, but Cope talked about it in the press conference. So they were down 2 guys theoretically.
Yep, which they had that similar issue in Fairfield, but Connor Kelly was a hero that time. But if they're healthy minus McConvey, scary.
Which McConvey, even if they said he felt 10 times better after the game too, so it's not a long-term injury either. I did say in that game though, with obviously like guys going down is not ideal and everything, but late in that game we were on the sidelines and I said this is where not dressing Ryland Reese kind of hurt them just from an offensive standpoint, because Ryland gives you that 2-point threat like Connor Kelly does. And when it was like close for a little bit there late in the game with like, I think it was like 9 minutes left, we were like all talking about it. I think it was like a 2-point game at that point. I was like, damn, if they had Ryland Reese now, they'd have that added like 2-point threat that Connor Kelly also gives them, but he's also coming off of injury, so you don't know where, his actual like where the emphasis of getting him the ball at that point was going to be. I was like, damn, if they had Ryland Reese, like that would add another dimension of the 2-pointer to the offense for them to stay in it. I was like, obviously hindsight's 20/20, but I was like, damn, if they had Ryland Reese, I wonder if that would have changed anything offensively.
Right. I wouldn't expect the lineup to change too much though. I think they're going to stay pretty heavy midfield, especially with the way that they've been playing the face-off. It's going to benefit them in the long run offensively. Like you can't really predict guys going down. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
I think Ryland's back in the lineup this week though, because
there's no reason for him not to be.
And they this was like the first time that the Water Dogs were kind of going in that Spider-Man meme of the prevent versus prevent at the face-off, so that's where Cope decided to dress the extra offensive midi.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the only reason why. I'll say that.
Well, I'll say it because
moving forward,
per sources, I was told that.
All right, bro.
That was their strategy for this game in particular, is because it was the first time that they were doing that, and they have the unicorn of this like prevent era with Zach Currier. So then it afforded them an opportunity to dress the extra offensive midi and use Currier more so at the stripe and in that capacity.
Which is why I was saying it might not be the last time they do it. You did not have to me like that.
Pause. You're better than that. You're better than that. Get off the field.
Cannons are a wagon, absolute wagon. They're a scary team to see right now. I'm just really excited to see what they have moving forward. Pretty much like I'm wondering who's gonna stop them. They're on a 5-game win streak right now. Like who's gonna be? 5-game win streak. Like I want to know who's gonna be the one to stop them. But with that being said, I'm jumping right into the next game. The Redwoods absolutely have a chance of stopping them this weekend. Some people are probably call me delusional, but looking at how the midfield looked last week, you're adding Romar to that, and with the way Romar plays in a couple of these in a couple of the other midfielders, wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Merrill drop from the lineup and run an extra mid, keep everybody you had last week and just add Romar. I would not be surprised to see that whatsoever. But the oh my god, the midfield looks great. Cursed. I think I said something as soon as he got drafted that
we said it on the draft show.
Yeah,
we
after
both
watching
reacted,
him,
we were like, "This is great."
Yeah, after watching him in Syracuse play against Notre Dame, I knew what kind of player he was going to be, and he's bringing that exact same fire and intensity, emotion, and pure aggression in terms of when he dodges. He just bulls his way through multiple people and scores. Like that's kind of what this Redwood team needs at times. And then of course the attack got mixed in there as always. So I really like where the Redwoods are trending. They're definitely trending in the right direction to possibly, whether they win or lose this week, I don't think it affects them too much. The next 2 weeks after that, though, are huge for them. They have to win them both, and I think they do. I think they're in really good position to win those games and have some momentum heading into the playoffs.
What a concept to finally get Jules involved offensively and not be a fucking hockey assist guy. He's too talented to be the hockey assist player on the team.
I just think he feels a little more like I think he feels like there's some weight lifted off his shoulders now that other guys are like dodging hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nakai is going to get in and dodge hard. Curse is going to dodge hard. Bertrand's going to dodge hard. So like he doesn't feel like he's the only initiator in the midfield now. And I think that's a big thing with it was he felt like anytime they needed to go through a midfield, it had to be him because Miles and the other guys just weren't dodging. So like I get that standpoint. Chaos.
They look great.
What? Hey, what the hell, Blaze? I know you're listening, bro. What the hell was the beginning of the game?
Hey, it was a
like it was like the first 5 or 6 saves he had 3 turnovers, and I was like, I had to wipe my eyes like they do in the cartoons. Like, am I seeing this? Is this real?
You're Mr. Krabs,
bro. Let me pull these out. Wash them in the sink and pop them back in because there's no way I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing right now. But of course, they cleaned it up as always. Dane Smith.
That save at the end was unreal too.
Oh, he said he got lucky, and I'm like, "Place, stop it,
brother."
That's not luck.
Shout out Kluch too, like to just be propped right back in the lineup, and it wasn't even initially going to be him because I remember earlier in the week, like when Josh got ruled out, it was like Chase was in. I remember seeing a tweet about that from Chaos's account, if I'm not mistaken, and then Kluch was the guy in the lineup this week. Just didn't miss a beat. He looked so good. And I also got to give a tip of the cap to Arden Cohen. That was easily his best game as a pro. Easily. Like, Brian Minikis is like for sure in the running for Rookie of the Year this year. Not saying he's going to be a finalist in my opinion. That was a phenomenal job by Arden Cohen to shut down Brian Minikis. Brian Minikis has not been shut down like that all year.
That's why I said the Redwoods are definitely trending in the right direction. Because, I mean, Glaze is 3rd in the league, giving up only like an 8.3% on shot percentage is the closest defender. We know what Garrett's doing. He's leading the league in caused turnovers like he's done the last 2 years. Jack Kelly's playing at the all-time level he's been playing the last 2 years. Arden is finally just stepping into his role, and then the midfield is figuring their thing out. Attack has been great all year. The team is just coming together. You got TD at the stripe. They're definitely trending in a positive direction. And to speak on Kluch, like I don't expect anything different. Like that guy only knows how to show up when it's time to shine. Like I will always think of the North Carolina Maryland game where he deuced on Burnlord to win the game. Like just the way he played in that entire game at the end of that game, that's when I knew he was like something special. And he's done that over and over again, whether it was MLL, PLL, NLL, Senior B, Senior A. Like it just doesn't matter where he plays. He makes those kind of plays consistently. So I don't expect anything different from Chaos, but it was extremely interesting to see Minnow minimized in a way.
Minimized?
in a way that nobody has been able to do all season. Literally nobody. I mean, let me take a look at Chaos's schedule real quick. Like, I mean, they've played Whips, so that means he had Matt Dunn. Matt Dunn couldn't do it. Tucker Durkin slash Gavin Adler couldn't do it.
I don't think Matt Dunn played in that game. That was the game he was out in Dallas.
Then it was either Bryce Young or Tim Muller, which still, you know, I mean, Gavin Adler couldn't do it. If it wasn't Arden the first time we played, then it was Garrett, and Garrett didn't do it. Nobody on the Archers could do it, or Cannons. And I guess Water Dogs, I don't think they did it at the beginning of the year either, because I think he had a couple points in that game. Like 3, I think. Dude's good, man. And Arden erased him. I mean, there's a reason he got drafted. He fits into the scheme. He just hasn't been able to figure it out yet. Maybe the time is here.
I think we're getting a new model of the Swiss Army machete pretty soon, too.
Oh, definitely.
Shout out to the fucking boy.
That was insane.
What a fucking game from Ian McKay. Trust the motherfucking process, buddy.
That was crazy.
He was unreal. Just
Couldn't
ripping shots, playing all ends of the field. He was the determining factor of being like Chaos were winning. Like, he hit that 2, and I'm blanking on who hit the other 2 for Chaos. There was another 2-pointer that kind of like swung momentum. I'll pull it up right now.
It wasn't Troy.
Oh no, CJ.
Yeah.
Because I was on Faro's vlog. I was like,
I don't know why.
Costabile right there. He put that Italian paisan into that shot.
And they said something about Scotty on the broadcast, which people need to stop doing that, in my opinion. Like, leave the man alone, dude. Chrome, pack the bags. And I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about Brennan O'Neill. He's got a one-way ticket.
Man.
And it's scary because they're not going to get rid of anyone. And it's going to be just fine that they do that. That offense is going to flourish next year. 1,000%.
That was the angriest I've ever seen Tim Soudan in my life.
I believe it.
Shout out Kevin Boylard. He was there this weekend as well. Off rip press conference. Do we see Connor Farrell back in the lineup next week? Which, as of today, yes, we are. Pseudo responds as quickly as possible and as angry as possible. No comment at this time.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was like, do we even ask any other questions now? He seems really mad.
I wouldn't want to ask nothing else.
Man, that was like the most scared I've ever been of Tim Soudan in my life.
But I mean, if you ask me, their defense is in a really good space. Like, they should probably draft someone this year. You know, with like kind of looking at their age as a defense overall. But I think they're okay on that side of the field for the most part. Scanoni's young and playing well. They got to figure out the whole face-off scenario thing, but their offense next year is going to be insane. If they get Brennan Nickturn back and they add BO to that, and they have Colin Heacock, they have Wisnowskis, Cross, JA. Like,
I don't know if Heacock will be there next year, just off of.
I mean, if Heacock leaves, that's fine.
But
you're just replacing it with Brennan O'Neill. Like, it does not.
That's
matter.
what I'm saying. Like, I think that would be the one change. Is like Heacock. I think he's a free agent. I'm not. Don't quote me on that until I check.
If he resigns, that's fine too. Like, whether he decides to stay or go, it's fine.
Trying to see. Also, when is the trade deadline?
The end of the is real.
Heacock's a free agent at the end of the year.
I think it's like right before. I think it's next weekend. I think next Friday. I think.
Let me see.
Because I don't think you can. No, not next. No, not next Friday. It's before the last weekend. I think it's the Friday before.
Trade windows through the Tuesday prior to the final event weekend of the regular season, closing at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep, I knew it was that final week because somebody made a trade that week in one season, and yeah,
it was last year. It was Alex Smith for somebody.
Justin Gutty? Yeah, for Gutty.
No, because it was between Cannons and Chrome, and Gutty was already on the Whips.
Okay.
I forget who it was. It wouldn't shock me, though. Like, if Chrome lose this week, would it surprise you if they try to trade Heacock most specifically to the Whips? Because that's where everybody is just, like, dream casting him to.
For what?
I'm just saying, like...
I mean, no, like,
general,
I'm not shooting it down. But, like...
For what? But, like, that's what everybody's...
Well, I'm saying if you're Stags, who... Or if you... No, sorry. If you're Sudan, what do you want for Heacock?
A draft pick, maybe. Since he's an expiring. And then you get a pick
first?
that would be under control.
A first? Or a second?
Probably a second would get it done.
But do you think he goes to the Whips anyway?
I just use them as an example because that seems like everybody's
or how
wish cast.
You know, because then that leads you down the list of questions of, does he like playing on this team? Do we have any of his friends here? Does he? What are the chances that he leaves? What other teams is he looking at?
Well, we know one of his besties is on the Whips.
How do we feel? How confident do we feel that he's going to re-sign with us? But how confident do other teams feel that they can reach out to him and steal him from it? Like, it just leads you down a whole line of questions. So,
but I think we said it last week too with Chrome, topic. Like, and you brought it up, like drafting a defenseman, like because of the age of their defense with Jesse and Mike Manley getting up there. Like, I think if you're Chrome from a GM aspect, you want to have as many, darts to throw in this draft. I mean, even if address areas of need outside of what everyone is presuming the number one overall pick that you'll use with Brennan O'Neill.
If they got 4 and they get the first, I think it doesn't really matter.
Or you just acquire picks to then potentially off season, deal them to another team to get an already established player to add to your roster, like we've seen done in the past.
I mean, there's some options, but I would bet that they're just going to play it safe and draft. They might trade something, but do you want a Whips pick for real? Those are normally pretty low picks.
Depends on where they finish this year.
I mean, with the way they're trending, they've been playing well. They're healthy. Minus Burnlore. But Krebs has played out of his mind. They're going to finish 5th. Does a second round 5th pick really, what does that do for you? You know what I'm saying? Like you have to kind of take that into value. I guess it's better if you're going to trade Heacock. Sure, it's better than letting him go for free in free agency if he is going to leave. But you kind of just gotta think about that.
If you're Whips, hear me out on this. I'm just spitballing takes for everybody listening at home as well. I'm just looking at this person's stats.
And it's crazy they won 12-5 and Zed scored 1 goal and had no assists. That's scary.
Would you trade Heacock to the Whips in a similar to the trade that we'll get to in just a minute that happened this week as well, like 1-for-1 player for player? Would you trade Heacock to the Whips, which for Heacock's benefit, like he knows a lot of the guys on the team from the Maryland connection and everything, for Garrett Ledman?
Yes. That was the name I was going to bring up when you said 1-for-1. Yes.
Garrett Ledman hasn't played since July 14th, which obviously was pre-All-Star, so he just hasn't suited up since the All-Star break. Has 3 points on the year. Doesn't really feel like he's a fit in the Whips offense from what we've seen in the limited amount of run he's gotten, feels like he'd be better suited with Chrome.
Absolutely. And do it now. Do it now. Sudan, do it now. Tank and get BO. And then you're putting BO back with Garrett Ledman. And you still have Wiz and possibly Brendan Nick turn to add back that with Cross, with JA. There's no way that offense doesn't get better next year.
Yeah, I would do that.
We should.
And even if you're
anyway,
even if you have to like include a pick or whatever in that, like I think those two players make a lot of sense to be traded for one another.
Yeah, absolutely. Atlas have kind of found a little bit of a stride here. For whatever reason, they pretty much always play Archers well. I don't know what it is about that matchup that gets them going, but they
outside of the first overall pick draft came in 2018.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. But yeah, they recently they've always played them pretty tight and everything. Went to overtime, but did you see that shot from Stryber? That could not get more corner. Get more corner. That was insane. But I think they're gonna end up in 7th, and they're gonna have a really tough game against a Cannons or Whips or Cannons or Water Dogs, and they're probably gonna lose that game, but that's okay.
Or Chaos in 3rd place right now.
I don't think they're getting up to 2nd though. They'd have to jump one of those two teams, and I don't think they play either one. I think they play. No, they play Water Dogs, but I don't think they play Cannons. And Cannons might not lose for the rest of the season.
Chaos play Water Dogs in Seattle and Chrome the last week of the regular season.
Yeah.
Cannons play Redwoods this week, Atlas next week, and Whipsnakes the final week.
They might not lose again. And if they do, it'll probably be the Whipsnakes game.
Gonna be interesting though.
So I mean,
as they say in sports media, that's why they play the games.
Yeah, facts. But last team to touch on is the Archers, and there's not much to be said other than
wagon.
They're the golden standard this year. You got to beat them.
They're the orange standard,
and you have to figure out how to stop Connor Fields and Mac O'Keefe from shooting the ball.
Good luck.
Not even just scoring. They cannot take shots. They have taken 61 and 62 shots in this year already in 7 games. Last year they took 41 and 42. That's insane.
They nice with it.
And it's almost impossible to stop them. So I mean, like you said, good luck.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend, great vibes overall, and that just rolls right into the Sarah Griffin inspired throwback jersey rankings, brought to you by our pals over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. Guys, they now have the Tomahawk Shades app that you can download right on your phones in the App Store, Google Play. And just for downloading the app, you can claim a free pair of sunglasses. And, Deej, it's your favorite time of year with Tomahawk Shades.
Yes, sir.
It's the warehouse sale.
Gang, gang.
Warehouse sale going on right now, where they have the $5 warehouse mystery pack that's valued anywhere from $25 to $45. They also have other levels of that mystery pack that are $10 and $15, I believe, plus the warehouse sale blowout. Deej, this might be the biggest sale that Tomahawk Shades has ever done. 80% off. You heard that right. 80%. 80% off. Discount is good for 60 to 80% off. Some items are previously discounted with code WARE80, WARE 80 for up to 80% off at tomahawkshades.com or in the app. And year-round, you can use our promo code to support the boys, USP, for 25% off at tomahawkshades.com or in the app. But get up to 80% off with code WARE80 at tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. Deej, let's talk about them. The throwback, I don't know what is happening right now. I just lost control of my mouse.
I was like, what?
The throwback jerseys are here, and I can't click anything on my computer right now.
Unplug it and plug it back in.
That's what I just did. 90% sure this battery might be dying.
Uh-oh.
In this mouse.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Not great, Bob. Not great. I'm going to try to switch it and see what happens. Because anytime I click the left button, it's just right-clicking. Make that make sense.
It's broke.
Stand by, everyone. Oh, I forgot my mouse is plugged in right here, actually. Are we good? Yes, we are. All right, it's throwback jersey rankings. The PLL released their 2023 throwbacks. We're gonna rank these by jersey and by mascot logo.
Oh,
because I think there's a difference within the two between the jersey aesthetic and the actual mascot aesthetic.
Okay.
The PLL Instagram has the logo graphic that has all 8 of them together.
That's probably the easiest way to find it.
Yeah,
it's on Twitter too.
The logos are absolutely spectacular. Like, damn near no notes whatsoever on any of these bad boys. I think I have my logo rankings in check, and I think I have my jersey rankings in check as well. I think we both agree cannons in both categories have won the throwback weekend. Hands down, no notes. The Cannonball logo is flawless. I need it on a rope hat ASAP PLL merch team. That hat is going to go dummy whenever it gets released. I'm 100% buying that logo on a shirt. And the Cannons jersey is perfect. Like, hands down, in a tier of its own. Cannons logo and jersey, number 1 for me. Number 2 for the jerseys for me is Chrome. And I think Chrome's logo is also number 2 for me as well. The little knight on the horse is just brilliant. I love that it's in the shield crest. I like the like gothic font that they used, both in the logo and how it looks on the jersey. Job well done, Chrome. Number 3, logo wise. This is not my This is number 3 logo wise and jersey wise. Chaos. The Chaos jersey is spectacular, and you guys know how I feel about white jerseys. The Chaos jersey is beautiful. The collar design is spectacular. I love the logo saying the mighty mighty Chaos. That's so vintage. That's like, it just reminds me of Frosted Flakes, the old school commercials. We are the Tigers. The Scorpion logo is amazing. He's a little menace, and I love him. I will protect him at all costs. So Chaos gets the number 3 stamp for me in both jersey and logo. Number 4, jersey. And number 4, logo is Redwoods. Little snaggletooth bear is hilarious. I like the use of yellow in the logo. And I think, again, kind of like Chaos, the collar on the Redwoods jersey with the trees, beautiful. Job well done. I really like the Redwoods jersey and logo big time. The next logo, this is not jersey-wise. Yeah, next logo in terms of ranking for me is Atlas. I love the bull. Love the smoke coming out of the nose. I love the globe behind the bull. Very cool. The color is obviously perfect. The solar blue always plays. Atlas's jersey, though, not next in the ranking. Whipsnakes get the nod for me in the next jersey ranking. The red, great choice. Whipsnakes red is easily that's top tier for them. I like that choice a lot. I like the script for the Whipsnakes going across the top of their jersey. Then next in the jersey rankings for me is Atlas's solar blue. Followed by logo and jersey rank Water Dogs. This is not to say that the logo for the dogs is bad. I like it. I like the paw print inclusion. It's starting to grow on me a little bit more the more I look at it. I don't know if it's just I've been biased to the throwback Water Dogs logo of last year. But it's starting to grow on me. And I'm just always meh on using sticks in a lacrosse logo. Then the next up logo is Archers. I love the little Archer guy. He's super cool. Just very fun. Little Robin Hood head ass. And then last logo, just because I can't stand the sticks behind the Whipsnake. Whipsnakes are last in terms of logo design. Archers are last in jersey design because there was no need to include Lacrosse on the front of the jersey on what will more than likely be every guy's stomach placement. I also know we'll never get it, but I wish it would have been a royal blue jersey instead of navy blue because it would have been more of a pop in terms of a vintage throwback look. But that's where I stand on the rankings of jerseys and logos. Logo-wise, to just run it, it's Cannons, Chrome, Chaos, Redwoods, Atlas, Water Dogs, Archers, Whipsnakes, and then jerseys, it's Cannons, Chrome, Chaos, Redwoods, Whipsnakes, Atlas, Water Dogs, Archers.
So I am going to go backwards order, 8-1. I'll start with the logo. I don't like anything about the Water Dogs logo. It looks like it just seems very basic. It's okay, Water Dogs, lacrosse, paw print, dog, stick, done. Maybe it'll grow on me eventually, but it doesn't. Like you said, maybe I'm partial to last year, and that's what's influencing this. But I don't know. I feel like they could have done a little bit better. 8 on the jersey, Atlas. I really want to see them in navy blue. I think they would look really good in navy blue, especially if they did solar blue helmet, navy blue jersey, solar blue shorts. That would be fantastic. But like you said, we'll probably never get it in terms of an Archer's royal blue jersey. And I also don't like the stripes. I think either make the stripes go all the way around or don't put them there. That was really weird to me. So that's why I gave them the 8. Going back to the logos, 7 Whipsnakes for the same reason you gave. I liked the snake that they use, and I like the way they capped off the whips to kind of give it more of a crest feel with the half circle there. But the sticks bother me, especially when they cross. That is just Number 7 in the jersey is Archers. It just gives me football PTSD. Like, it looks so much like a football practice jersey. Like, they all do, but that one really looks like a football practice jersey. Like, everybody kind of gets the idea. Yeah, like everybody kind of gets the idea that, like, Port-Hole mesh jerseys always look like that, but like throwing the lacrosse under it, the stripes with the logo that like kind of just sits on top, like it really gave football. And I was like, oof. I get it, because like I get where they're going with that, because that is how some of the old school ones looked. But I think there's a reason why teams went away from that old school look. So they got 7. 6 on the logo is chrome. I don't know what it is I don't like about it, but I don't like it. I can't really give a legitimate reason to be honest, but it just, like, when I look at it, it just throws me off. It seems, I don't know.
I do love that Archers and Chrome are playing each other this week in particular, because little Archer guy versus Horse and Knight is just perfect medieval times. It's the medieval times game.
And then 6 on the jerseys is Water Dogs. I don't like the way their logo sits on top of the stripes, especially since I already don't like the logo that much. And then the stripes under it really gave me a bad rub. I feel like the color scheme, I really felt like the color scheme was great, especially because they're going chrome purple, white jersey, purple shorts. I think it's going to be great. A great look down on the field as well. So, especially under the lights. So, really my only critique of that is the logo with the stripes on the side. Next logo coming up at 5 is Archers. I didn't think of him as a little Robin Hood. I thought of him more as a little indigenous person. And I was like, oh, that's genius. Like, that's perfect. I love that. And I like
He's
the way
also like the guy from Shrek.
That's fair.
Because he is an archer. It's just a old school, like on the top of a castle.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like the archers over the top though, but like there's just like not enough here in this logo for me. It's just very basic. And then 5 in the jerseys are whip snakes. I really like just the simplicity of the front. The logos on the side with no stripes, but the stripes being on the shoulders. I really put them here at 5 because they have the shoulder stripes. They could have honestly got bumped lower, but the use of the shoulders there is genius in my opinion. It's something that really hasn't been touched at all by anyone. So I liked that concept. 4 on the logo is Atlas. What saved them in the logo compartment is the bull. 1,000%. The use of the bull was perfect. That's pretty much the only thing this logo has going for. Well, I like the font they used as well. That throwback font that they have is nice. The jersey 4 though are my boys Redwoods. It's cool that it's white. It would have been nice if it stayed green. But the white's fine. I like the trim, the use of the yellow. I would have lost the stripes on this one as well, but they're doable. But I think it would look better if it was just plain logo, no stripes. Maybe if they added the trim on just the edge of the sleeve, like Chaos, and then had the logo, like these would probably jump Chaos, and then Chaos would be somewhere, it would be 4 most likely. Logo though, number 3 is Redwoods. I love the bear, snaggletooth. The circle logo with the stripe down the middle gives very much football Packer kind of vibes. So that's plenty of reason to put them at 3 and nowhere else. Jersey 3, Chaos. I kind of gave it away there lastly, but I like the concept of the sleeves. Color scheme is great. They had black last year. I think the white is perfect. Also, I just thought of this. I think there may be no black jerseys because the guys might have complained about being hot down on the turf, being in Denver. It's hot, and then you have wearing a black jersey. Ugh.
Playing night games though.
Hey, I don't mean it ain't hot.
Hey,
and then
Denver, it could snow in August.
Hey, I don't know what's going on over there. Okay, I'm just throwing out a hypothetical here. Logo number 2, chaos, like you said, the mighty chaos. That's it. Great.
Mighty chaos.
I love the circle.
If that's not
aspect.
a chant this weekend, Denver done missed.
Facts. I like the type of scorpion they use. I don't know if they created that themselves. They found that a stock image or whatever, but that is beautiful.
Kind of looks like a Mario like subsidiary villain, which I like.
Yeah, the font for chaos that they use for the word chaos is great. The circle concept looking more like a soccer logo. Like this was done very, very well. 2 on the jerseys though is chrome. Give me the pink. The stripe looks it fits it. The logo isn't too big or too small. I like the font. I love the number font on these. I think this is probably my favorite number out of all, like the number font out of all of them. I think just even the touches on the collar there, just all the little small intricate details of the chrome jersey are great.
I just want everyone to thank us for any pink chrome jersey that ever gets released. You're welcome. That is a product of our podcast. Shout out to me. Shout out to Deej. Shout out to Dom. We did that. You're welcome. Hashtag thank you OTB in the YouTube comment section.
And then back to the logos. Number 1, which is same for the jerseys, is cannons. They absolutely blew this away. The bomb with the gritty teeth, with the stripe with the stars in the back. The jersey with that lettering that numbering is just like Boston numbering. I think I've seen that on every Boston jersey like ever. I love that they use Boston on the front to actually be a throwback jersey. The stripe, perfect. The red, blue, white on the collar, like all the touches are absolutely pristine.
The explosion on the bomb being a star as well is beautiful.
Yep.
And it's tough to execute a bomb mascot because of no free ads, the hundreds, and how iconic that bomb logo is. That's how you do it. That Cannons logo, I need it on a rope hat ASAP. I need all these logos, to be honest, on a rope hat. I will buy all of them. I think compared to last year where you and I both, I've got if you're watching on YouTube, I have the Chaos Throwback hat on this week. I think compared to last year's throwbacks, all of these are flawless. Where last year we were like, all right, some of them are cool. Some of them we can kind of like miss on in terms of like cop and merch for. Like, I have 4 of the throwback hats from last year. I got Chaos, Woods, Dogs, and Chrome. All 8 of these I would wear on a rope hat or a hat like this style from last year if they did it like this, but rope hat preferably. Like, let's do that. These logos are hands down some of the best, if not the best, that the PLL has put out in terms of just like creative designs. Shout out to the boy Liam and the graphics team and the merch team. They crushed these.
Oh, absolutely. Even to the point to where I may or may not get an entire Redwoods get up. And
hey, you got it like that.
And I might pay for a few other things too. I'm just saying, like this.
I just need the rope hats immediately, like expeditiously.
I wouldn't even mind if they didn't do rope and they went back to like the concept they did last year, where they like just put the logos on them. But like there is something they need. They need to do something in terms of hats with this collection.
I'm just saying rope because that is like throwback.
I mean, yeah, but if they say no, they say no. I just want them to put
I think they say yes, and I think if the boy Liam has any say, they'll be rope hats.
I just want them to put the logo on a hat. I don't care what.
I need that Cannons John now.
I would definitely have to buy the four. My top four: Cannons, Chaos, Redwoods, Atlas.
I would definitely get Cannons, Chaos, Redwoods, Chrome. Archers on a rope hat would be sick. Dogs on a rope hat would be awesome. They're all great. They're all no notes on a hat, flawless. So there it is. Let us know your throwback jersey rankings and throwback logo rankings in the YouTube comment section or in an Apple Podcast review. Let's get into our Denver preview, Deej.
They got some sick tees already.
Yeah, I'm getting the Cannons t-shirt, hands down. The navy blue one.
The one with the bomb?
Yeah. Have to.
That thing's fire.
Have to. Let's kick it old school and get into our Denver preview. We got some great matchups this weekend.
Fire.
A lot of repeat matchups from Dallas with Cannons Redwoods, with Chaos Whipsnakes. We've got the Medieval Times matchup of Archers Chrome. And then we got Atlas Water Dogs as well. Friday, Saturday games this week. Game of the week is on ESPN2 on Saturday night, Atlas Water Dogs, which will be very fun. But what game are you looking forward to the most this weekend, and which game do you think is most important for a particular team of your choice?
Wow. Okay. Game I'm most excited to see. Water Dogs Atlas.
Interesting.
I want to see how Water Dogs attack Trevor. What is their idea there at the stripe? But also Atlas being 2-5. Having an opportunity to possibly steal a game here. What do they do? How do they come out? Do they thrust Miles right into the lineup right away? What does their lineup look like? How do they attack on all? They're now Atlas is a very intriguing team now, in my opinion. I want to see how they use Miles in this offense. And if they're able to pull another game out to make things stretch out a little bit, because they're in a very weird territory if they walk into the last week of the game the last week of the season 2-5, because Chrome would be 2-5 as well, or sorry, 1-6, or 1 and whatever, or you know,
6.
however that shakes out, right? If they're both at that low, there's a chance Atlas misses the playoffs if something happens in that last week. And this is a game where I feel like they have an opportunity to do that, because they should be getting the ball a lot more, because they're facing the prevent, not a traditional faceoff guy there. So that's intriguing. Most important game of the week, Redwoods. No question.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think right now they're 5th behind Whipsnakes. Or 6th. Sorry, 6th behind Whipsnakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Whipsnakes lose this weekend.
Okay.
So if Redwoods can win, they're in 5th with some momentum, walking into, I believe, Atlas and Chrome for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, Chrome next week, and then Atlas to wrap up.
That's very favorable if you can pull out a win this week. Looking at a chance of being, 6-4 on the year?
Yes.
I don't see how they don't get in the playoff at 6-4 with a decent seed.
Oh, easily.
They might even slide.
6-4 might make a championship series.
That's exactly what I was about to say. They might slide into that top 4 depending on how things look. But that starts this week, and you're playing a very tough Cannons team. So, but they're also have roster questions to look at. like we talked about a little bit earlier? And do they throw Romar Dennis right into the lineup? Who do they take out? How do they address that? So,
which we haven't even talked about. That is part of our Denver preview. We had the trade that had Lacrosse Twitter going crazy. A 1-for-1 Miles Jones traded to Atlas in exchange for Romar Dennis, which is very funny after the game in Baltimore. Nat St. Laurent said, well, if we just hit our single shots, we'd be in better position to win. We're not too worried about 2-pointers. And they go and trade for a guy who's known for shooting 2-pointers.
well, not just for shooting 2-pointers. Not just.
Well, yeah, but he is known as a 2-point threat in the PLL, which they were certainly lacking this past weekend against Chaos. I like this trade for both teams, but I put on my GM hat and think this is an absolutely genius GM trade for Nat St. Laurent. Getting off the Miles Jones contract that is now in the hands of Atlas and Mike Pressler, where Miles is under contract for the remainder of this season and all of next season. Romar's an expiring. If I'm not mistaken, Romar's younger than Miles.
I believe.
So you get the quote-unquote youth aspect to that. And I think both guys just needed a fresh start. And if you're Nat St. Laurent, you just reunited Romar Dennis with the offensive coordinator who tapped into his best professional season back in 2017 or 2018 with the Denver Outlaws, John Grant Jr. Big brain move there from Nat. Also shut down your question a couple weeks ago, the press conference about making any moves to shake up the roster, because he is notorious for making trades, and he did just that. Solid trade, I think, though, for both teams in terms of giving guys a fresh start.
I agree, and I think that's the important part here that people are kind of overlooking. Everybody's kind of just looking at both these guys' stats and saying, well, why would either one of them want to make this trade? Sometimes you just need to go to a new place, in a new space with new people that might complement your styles a little bit better. What I think both of these guys are running into were systems that didn't fit them at their current stance point of skill and needs in terms of being able to fulfill a role. Miles Jones is a much slower player than he used to be. And he's back to like slowing down the offense and dissecting them with passes and picking apart teams with guys who have cutters. Guess who cuts a lot? Atlas. Jeff Teat doesn't stop moving. Chris Gray doesn't stop moving. Xander Dixon, Eric Law don't stop moving. Brendan Curry doesn't stop moving. Like that's even Brian Costabile doesn't stop moving. Like that team is perfect for him to go and sit at the top, dodge a little bit, and move the ball because he's going to have guys moving a ton. There's not an emphasis for him to be a dodger. But then you go and look at the Redwoods. What do they need? They need midfield dodgers, guys who are going to dodge hard, create space, and either shoot or move the ball along and open things up for everybody else. So it's like both these guys were in two systems that weren't working well with them and had too many mouths to feed. Like if you look at the Redwoods when they're going, like last week, Ryder had a goal. Rob had 5 assists. Kirst had 4 goals. Kevin Rogers had a goal. Jules had a goal.
Jules had 2.
Wes had a goal, right? So what was that? 6, 7 people I just named right there. That's a ton. Where's Miles supposed to get his at? But especially if he's not the dodging threat he used to be. And then you look over at Atlas, and the problem with them is that everybody dodges on their team. Xander Dixon will get it, take it to X and dodge. Jeff T to dodge. Chris Gray will dodge. Romar and Costabile will dodge from up top. Like literally everybody on their team dodges. So where was it ever a time where they're like, yeah, let's consistently go to Romar and set him up? Neither one of these guys were in positions to win. And it's not because the coaches didn't want them to. It's just they weren't in systems that allowed them to. And I think both of these moves are opening these guys up to systems where they will do exactly that. Flourish under the skills that they have.
I was right. Romar's 28, Miles is 30, so a little bit younger as well. Yeah, I like this move for both teams, like I said. It's definitely not a nothing for nothing deal if you look at it in the wide scape of just the fresh start aspect and then the GM aspect of opening up money for Redwoods. Because now you just made Atlas be invested in Miles Jones at age 31 next year, and we haven't seen him get any better. Who say that's going to happen? It could. I'm not saying it won't, but trends are saying Miles has slowed down. He's lost a step in the sports acronym term. But yeah, I'm pretty sure both guys are expected to play this week for their teams as well. Dylan Malloy now on Atlas as well, and I'm pretty sure he's expected to play. So interesting lineup for Atlas this week. Games I'm looking forward to. Chaos Whips, the rematch. I think that's going to be very, very fun. No Josh Byrne this week for Chaos, though. So we'll see if it's Kluch. We'll see if it's Chase. But very excited for that game. I think that's going to be just another back and forth, ridiculous, fun, high-scoring affair. I'm also looking forward to Cannon's Redwoods. I think those two teams, it's just a fun matchup every time. And, there's a little revenge factor from a couple weeks ago now when Redwoods kind of got embarrassed a little bit, losing by 6 to Cannons in Dallas.
Well,
And they want their revenge.
There's a double revenge factor here, though. Because Cannons probably want revenge from Throwback Weekend last year in Denver, losing in Port Holmes jerseys on this very field to this very team.
I think Cannons just want to throw away all of last season, to be fair. Let's keep it a
They
buck.
probably don't even reference last season for real. They
said,
probably
"What?"
They probably don't even exist. Like if you look in their archives and they just don't have a 2022 season. It goes 2021, 2023. You walk in and you're like, what happened to... We don't reference that around here.
That's we don't talk about Bruno.
We
don't talk about 22.
That's a he who thou shalt not be named.
And then in terms of important games, I think there's two teams that have massively important games, not including Chrome, because obviously it's an important game, because I'm pretty sure if they lose this week, they're eliminated from the playoffs. I could be wrong there, depending on how the Atlas game goes.
I think it's very dependent on the Atlas game.
It's very close to them being eliminated from the playoffs. So obviously it's a huge game for them, and they're playing the best team in the league.
Basically, every game they lose up until last week, they got to hope Atlas loses too.
Yeah,
because it gives them a chance. The minute Atlas wins another game, they're done.
Yeah, this is an important week for Atlas, going against the Water Dogs team that's now on a 2-game losing streak, looking to get back on the winning ways, get back into the discussion. Not that, some people haven't removed them from a top team in the league discussion, even at 4-3, like myself, like you, like a lot of people. But you are what your record says you are. They want to get back on a winning way. I think it's important for both of these teams, Atlas and Water Dogs. Water Dogs got to get off this losing streak. Atlas have to win. So very important matchup overall in the game of the week. And like you said, Deej, it's an important game for the Redwoods. They have this is a must-win game to just feel good about yourselves heading into the final 2 weeks against quote-unquote lesser opponents in terms of record right now with Chrome and Atlas, and two teams that they should be able to beat head-to-head. This is your big test, though. This is a playoff game for the Redwoods, in my opinion. Cannons have already clinched a playoff spot. They're still not taking their foot off the gas pedal, though. They want to finish as close to the top of the league, I'm sure. They want to make that championship series, so they're going to be giving it 110%. You're playing in a playoff game to give yourself seeding, to give yourself a better score differential. Redwoods have the worst score differential of current playoff teams right now in the PLL. The only team that has a worse score differential is -23, the 1-6 Chrome. you got to get your score differential under wraps if you're Redwoods over these next 3 weeks. So that means your defense has to, kick it another level up. Not that they've been playing poorly, but they got to increase the intensity. Jack Kelly's got to increase the intensity. And then most importantly, the guy's got to score. You got to have offensive production from your attack group, from your middies. You got to score. Hopefully Romar injects that 2-point threat for you this weekend as well, so you can add more in terms of scoring. But they got to get the scoring in check, because also on top of that, not only do they have the worst score differential, they have the least amount of goals scored of any current playoff team right now, or I should say points, not goals, at 72, which is by far the lowest of any playoff team currently. The next lowest is 88 for the Water Dogs. Redwoods got to kick it into high gear offensively down the stretch here.
I think that might be I think that is 72 goals, because I don't think we have a single 2-pointer on the season.
Correct.
So
I was using score to reference everybody else who has scored 2-pointers, who has offensive versatility this year.
They have not.
Redwoods out here thinking they're the Whip Snakes of 2019.
I mean, they can be
singles,
though.
And
they can be because like Nat said last week, if they had hit all their singles, the 2 wouldn't have mattered, and that is very true. They had some singles that they definitely could have hit that they didn't. But it's also tough saying that when they're playing Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this weekend was, I don't know about you, but it was extremely hard for me to pick fantasy this weekend.
It was hard, but I kind of like my roster.
I mean, I love my roster. It was hard, but like looking at matchups, looking at the fact that a lot of these are rematches, thinking about the conditions, the game time, the jerseys, who might be returning home, who has family, friends, that kind of stuff. It made it hard. And looking at cap in terms of coins like that.
I still have 6 remaining coins.
Nice.
So I have some versatility if I want to switch anything up, because I do have a guy in my lineup who is questionable, but I think he's going to play.
Me too.
I have Brian Minikis, Kieran McCardle, Brad Smith, Kirsty, the Swiss Army Machete, Brett Dobson, TD.
I have Sowers, Fieldsy, Bertrand, Dane, Earhart, Dobby, and Petey. Petey has consistently gotten the best of Nick since college. Earhart should be on the wing. He's questionable, but he should be on
Brad
the wing.
Smith is my questionable, but I'm pretty sure he's playing, and he's played well since he came back.
Dobby's playing Chrome, which he's been basically lights out all year, has a good defense in front of him. Seems like a great pick. Dane and Bertrand. That was like my bang for the buck there. Them and PD, where PD was 15, Dane was 31, and Bertrand was 16. And then I popped.
Cole Curse is 24 for the people at home too, if you want to just chase the Cole Curse, hat trick, because every single game he's played in this year, he has a hat trick outside of week 3.
And I went big for attack, but I went with 2 guys who were bound to win their matchups and put up points. Fieldsy's gonna put up points. That's just what he does. And then Sowers is going against Adler or Durkin, and if I'm not mistaken, he pretty much always dices up Atlas. So it was almost foolproof to go with a strong attack that isn't the Cannons.
Yeah, I like Kieran's matchup. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, he's always had success against Atlas, whether it's assists, goals, whatever it may be. And I think, last time they played Atlas, he had 2 goals, and he only had lower points because he had a couple turnovers. So that just took away points from him. But I like the way Kieran's been playing. He's been seeing the field really well too. And I think he's just poised to have another really solid game. And I mean, to spend 24 and 14 respectively on Cole Kirst and Brad Smith at the midfield, like, sign me up for that. The way that those guys have been playing the last 2 weeks.
I wanted to stay away from Brad Smith. I stay away from offensive guys who are going against Blaze and Dylan Ward. I don't like picking those guys.
I just figured at 14 coins for Brad Smith, I said, why not?
That's how I felt about Bertrand, because like he's going against Kirst, who has played great, but like,
and the last time Brad Smith played Blaze, he had 38 fantasy points this year. 2 weeks.
That was
ago,
last
so.
time. That was last time. Respectably, like,
Hey,
respectfully,
trends,
that was
trends.
last time. Respectfully, I was like, but like, he's going against Kirst, and he's in this midfield that is new, rejuvenated, has some options, and he's never afraid to shoot the ball. So if he gets free hands, and at 16, if I can get a goal, 2 goals out of him, a goal and assist, or a goal, a couple ground balls, maybe a cause turnover in the ride, like, that's just gonna boost. Like, at 16, I can give that up because I know I'm gonna supplement it in Dane at 31.
You can join our fantasy group too in the PLL app.
Which, by the way, I'm ranked first in the season.
Behind you. I'm right behind you.
First in the season. I might, and I'm pretty, dude, you want to run through those real quick? I was looking, and like, I'm not like bragging, but like, I kind of know ball. So looking at my challengers, 5-3 against you, 6-2 against Dr. Walters, 6-2 against Mark, 500, 4-4 against Eric, 7-1 against Ban the Face Off, 5-3 against Chris, up in Buffalo, and 5-3 against Sour Power. So I'm pretty much all positive records minus my 5-5. I'm doing well. I ranked 33rd overall out of 18,344 fans in the PLL. I'm 9th for the season in the Redwoods out of 3,528 fans. 21st in TLN, 2,393 fans. 9th in Midwest with 986 fans. And first in hours.
I'm 106th in the PLL group.
Gang.
32nd in the Redwoods group. 22 in the Pro Lacrosse Talk group.
Oh, I'm not in that one, man.
16 in the Captain's Club.
I'm finna join right now.
I'm 2 in ours. I'm number 1 in the Kicks by Carly group. And then I'm number 2 in the Charlotte for PLL group. Overall, I'm 68, 40, and 1. I have a tie.
You have a tie?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. So what am I?
And I only have a losing record this year against
some
you,
math.
Pepe Sylvia, who is Brandon Biaggi. He just kicks my ass every single weekend. Shout out to my South Jersey brethren. And Dan Newber is 3-2 against me. And then I'm 4-4 against Dayton Triangles, who is Jacob Potter. Everyone else I am comfortably over 500 against. But with that, join our fantasy group. We'll put the link in the description. I think
38-18 on the year.
Not bad. Yeah, I'm 68, 40, and 1. So
you're playing a lot more people than I am. So I wish I would be way
you gotta
up
tweet
there.
your link out. You gotta tweet that link out.
I did, man. You got a lot more followers than me. You're a little bit more known.
I'll retweet it.
This guy.
Let's
Feed
feed
the
some
ducks.
ducks.
All right,
And
man.
head to our PLL Denver Picks of the Week powered by Trophy Smack. That's right, feed some ducks. And hopefully, by the time you guys are listening to this, we'll have our throwback merch up available at PHI Apparel Company. But our Denver Picks of the Week brought to you by our friends over at Trophy Smack. Guys, there's no better way to upgrade your fantasy smack talk than with our friends over at Trophy Smack. They've got belts. They've got rings. Metal wall art. They've got trophies, obviously. They've got last place trophies, banners. They also have, now, Deej, the Trophy Smack turnover chains.
Oh.
So you guys can upgrade your fantasy smack talk for your fantasy sports leagues across the board. Get your draft kits. Fantasy football season right around the corner. I have my fantasy football draft that we just upgraded our trophy via Trophy Smack. I have my draft next Thursday, so it's right around the corner. Go to trophysmack.com/underground and upgrade your fantasy smack talk today. That's trophysmack.com/underground to upgrade your fantasy smack talk. Deej, we kick things off in Denver with Chaos and Whip Snakes in a rematch of Dallas. That was a 1-goal game won by the Whips, courtesy of the boy Will Manny. Chaos at 4-3, Whips at 3-4. How do you see this one playing out?
Oh, I gotta rock with my Os boys. This one's easy for me this week. Not much of a Whip Snakes fan, but I regardless of that, both these teams are relatively healthy. Few guys here and there that are kind of not here or not completely healthy, but I don't think that really affects this as an overall. And Chaos has the best goalie on the planet and one of the best defenses in front of him. Jared Newman's not getting enough credit for how well he's playing. Will Bowen has been almost lights out recently. And Jack Rowlett. They got CJ and Troy up top. I could go on and on about how good the defensive side of the ball is for Chaos. So I think they have enough to limit the Whips offense enough for their offense to score enough goals.
I'm with you. I'm going with Chaos. They're just playing extremely well. Not that the Whips aren't. The Whips have been phenomenal since Brad Smith came back and has injected life into that offense. I just love the way that Chaos are playing as a collective unit from top to bottom. And I definitely know that they want that revenge factor from Dallas because they feel like that's a game that they should have and could have won. So I think they're going to be coming out firing and ready to rock and roll even without Josh Byrne. So I'm going to go with Chaos to get that dubski in Denver. Then we go to our first big time hashtag PLL After Dark of 2023. It's Chrome, it's Archers in the Medieval Times matchup. I think we got to just eat our food, our late night snacks with our hands, drink soup with no utensils, and go full on Mac Hollins. If you know, you know. Chrome fighting for their lives, for their season. Archers playing some of the best ball, if not the best ball, in the entire league. The Archers, again, we said it last week, have not given us a reason to pick against them. Therefore, bows up, baby. I got to go with the Archers.
Bows, baby. No question. No explanation either.
Connor Farrell back in the lineup, though, this week.
That's cool.
For Chrome.
Sis finna do him dirty.
Although the last time these two teams played in week 2, Connor Farrell won 52.6% of the faceoffs. So if there was a time to put him back in the lineup.
You think Sis forgot about that?
Not at all. I'm just saying in terms of success and trends.
Definitely. It makes sense.
On top of, you don't want to leave the guy off the roster and let a team claim him for free. Fair. Then we go to Atlas and Water Dogs in the game of the week. Deej, Bulls, Dogs, not Bulldogs. Shout out to Chaz. Who you got winning this one?
Shout out Adrian. Dogs. They get Dylan Ward back.
Dylan Ward back in Denver. Dogs hungry for a win.
Jack Hanna back in Denver.
Trevor Baptiste back in Denver. Stripe gonna be crazy.
TD back in Denver. But he was also
Eric
back in
Law back
Albany.
in Denver.
TD was also back in Albany this year.
He was also at Yale.
Yeah, Eric Law's back.
This is the Denver matchup, though.
I mean, Mikey Schlott, well, he ain't playing.
He gonna be on the sideline. Probably got a nice little Bernie in his hand.
Zach Courier's back, right? Zach Courier's back.
Eli Gobrecht.
Kluch, or is that Dallas?
Kluch was a rattler, I think.
Yeah. There's a handful of guys that play Denver though, that are making a return. But yeah, definitely got to give this one to the Dogs. I think them getting Dylan Ward back, and I think they'll continue to play on the level they have been. So I don't see them losing to the Bulls, but that will be a fun game to watch, like I mentioned earlier.
That one on ESPN2. Final game of the weekend. The nightcap, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Cannons, Redwoods. Big game for the Woods. Big game for Cannons, too. You know, depending on if Chrome pull the most magical upset of all time and the Cannons win, they would leapfrog Archers for first place. So, obviously, all gas, no breaks in this game. Very important for both teams. This one's the toughest game, I think, to pick of the weekend, just in terms of matchup, in terms of trend of the way the Redwoods have been playing versus how Cannons are playing on a 5-game win streak. I'm going off vibes and I'm going off jersey rankings. Look good, feel good, play good. I think the Cannons get a win.
You don't even sound confident in your pick.
I don't. This game is the one, I think, of all the games this weekend. I think you'll agree with me. Could go either way.
I think the Whips and Chaos game could go either way too. But yeah, for the most part, this one's a little bit easier for me. As much as I would love to pick the Redwoods, they're in a position right now where they have to like prove that they're going to win a game again. Like I almost like, I thought they were going to do last week. I was like, oh, well, I was wrong in this game. They're just going to put it on Chaos and walk out the door. And then they gave it up. And then, they've been struggling for a while now. They're 4-game losing streak, I think it is, pretty much. Which ain't cool. They won 2, lost 1, won 1, and now they've lost 3 in a row. You got to show me you can win again. So I got to go with Cannons, who are on fire right now, have great jerseys, great chemistry. They're smiling. I actually was just talking to one of my friends. I was like, I absolutely love Brian Holman. And I was like, off the fact that it's just like, he's just excited to be there. Everything's about the guys. Nothing's really about him. He's just having a great time. He's happy they're having a great time. He congratulates them first before himself. Like, just that mantra that they've created of this is truly about everyone here and not an individual person is permeating through their play. That's huge.
Yeah. So there it is. I think we're on the same page once again. Chaos, Archers, Water Dogs, Cannons. Those are our throwback week PLL Denver picks of the week, brought to you by our pals over at Trophy Smack.
What's our records right now?
I have to do the math on those just because life has been crazy and I haven't been able to make picks graphics every single week. But I'm pretty sure we're like pretty close to tied or one game one way or the other.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of perfect weeks.
Yeah. We've been pretty close. Nothing like what I do to you during NLL season.
Pause.
I'm just saying, man.
Speaking of the NLL,
I be giving you the hands when it comes to NLL, man.
Pause.
You can't catch
a game this year.
Yeah. Okay. You always catch up in the playoffs.
That's when it matters. When the lights shine bright, the stars come out.
If it was all regular season, I'd be cooking you.
And you know that.
He chokes under pressure, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
That's not it. Because I still beat you this year and last year. I came through right in the clutch. Don't even do it. I might look like I'm failing, but right at the end, who there? Me.
You're out here like Tom Petty, free falling.
And then I come through like Jordan with the crossover fadeaway right at the buzzer. That's me. That's me.
Let's run through NLL Free Agency. It's brought to you by our friends at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia and the Outside the Box podcast. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, 8 grams of carbs. Available both in the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh areas. Go to kenwoodbeer.com to see who's got Kenny's on tap in the Philadelphia or Pittsburgh area, or get it at your local liquor store in those areas as well. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. Since we last spoke, everybody, we had the trade that broke the NLL Lacrosse Twitter space and my brain and my heart. As the San Diego Seals traded Mike McCannell and their 18th overall selection in the 2023 entry draft to the Philadelphia Wings. And the Seals also, in that 3-team trade, traded the 32nd overall pick in the 2023 entry draft and their 3rd round pick in the 2025 entry draft to the New York Riptide. In exchange, the Wings sent Trevor Baptiste and the playing rights of Kyle Jackson to the San Diego Seals, and the Philadelphia Wings traded Kyle Matisse and Matt Anderson to the New York Riptide. The New York Riptide sent Scott Dominy to the Philadelphia Wings and traded the 22nd overall pick in the 2023 entry draft to the San Diego Seals. A 3-team trade that went absolutely nuclear on the internet. Trevor Baptiste requested this trade to play closer to home. I hate this trade for the Wings. As somebody who covers the team and is around them and sees them week in and week out at home, watches them intently while they're on the road. I know Scott Dominy is a great player in transition. I know Mike McCannell had a great rookie year last year. It sucks when you trade the best face-off athlete on the planet, both outdoor and indoor game, and trading your team captain, who is also fantastic in the transition game, to a division rival, or a conference rival, I should say. Not ideal. The Seals obviously pushing all their chips in once again to go for it and try to win a championship. You go and get the best player at that position on the planet to do so, when it is kind of the one piece that you're missing year in and year out, very much like the Archers in the PLL. The Riptide getting a leader on the floor and off the floor, like Kyle Matisse, who is such a culture instiller, is huge for that team. I think that is something they've been missing for quite some time. Obviously, your captain, Dan McCray, retires this year. So to go and get somebody like Kyle Matisse to be a locker room leader and a voice of reason and a voice of leadership is huge for a young team like that. I don't know. It might be just, I've been around the Wings since they came back, and seeing the culture that has been instilled with that team from Kyle Matisse and Trevor being both faces of this franchise for the last 5 years. It sucks. But the big question now for the Wings is, can you play in transition? And you have to go and get somebody who can play defense alongside Liam Burns, alongside a recovering Ryan Wagner from injury, because right now you have a questionable transition game. You have guys that can score, but we saw the offense get stifled quite a bit last year, and you can't rely on Zach Higgins to just be a brick wall week in and week out. Not that he's not capable of it, but that's a tall task to ask of a guy to not have a reliable, formidable defense in front of. I don't know. It's a very perplexing trade that I'm still kind of processing.
This one sucks for you because you're close to home. But like outside looking in, it's
to me, a very smart move by like everybody involved. Everybody got their needs met, in my opinion. San Diego needed a face-off guy, so they went and got one. Philadelphia is the only one that was really losing here. But the thing is, they went and got two very good pieces in supplement of losing someone versus saying, no, we're not going to trade you. You're just going to have to leave in free agency. And then they get nothing for him. So that, or, it turns into a whole different scenario with agents and that whole kind of thing, or where he just decides not to play and like that whole thing, which is a different issue that I'm sure they didn't want. And then New York gets, a leader, like you said, both on and off the field. And that's kind of what they've been needing to take their team to the next step after losing Dan McCray and then no Callum Crawford as well. They traded him away. Like a lot of young guys, a lot of talent, but they just need kind of somebody that's been there and done some things at this level to come in and help them figure that out. So I think all groups did right by everyone involved in terms of players. And that's the biggest thing as an organization when you're making trades is you do your very best to do right by your guys, not only for yourself, like the guys you're bringing in, but also the guy that you're letting out. You want to do your best to make sure that everybody gets the right things moving forward. And I think they did that.
Yeah, quite the trade. We got to work to get Paul Day on the show for sure to break this one down for my tiny little pea brain. Seals before that traded Connor Farrell to Rochester in exchange for 4th round selection and 5th round selection in this year's draft. We'll see if Connor Farrell plays. Who knows? Toronto Rock signed Josh Dowick to a 2-year deal. And the Bandits re-signed Steve Priolo to a 1-year deal. DJ's all-name team player, Nash Moog, going to Vancouver on a 1-year deal. Trent Kellner also going to Vancouver on a 1-year deal. Seals signed Liam Phillips to a 2-year deal. The Desert Dogs signed Adrian Sorichetti to a 1-year deal. Zach, don't call him Nancy Kerrigan, signed a 2-year deal with the Halifax Thunderbirds. Albany traded Brent Mitchell to Panther City in exchange for a 2nd-round pick in the 2025 entry draft. Ryan Dilks going to Vancouver on a 2-year deal. Keegan Bell signed a 1-year deal with Saskatchewan. Laine Haruska signed a 1-year deal with Saskatchewan, and Wyatt Hawks signed a 1-year deal with Saskatchewan. Dallas Wade, a 2-year deal with San Diego. Ethan O'Connor leaves Buffalo for Rochester on a 2-year deal. The New York Riptide makes some waves, all pun intended, signed John LaFontaine to a 3-year deal. Love that move for the Riptide. The Georgia Swarm signed potentially all-name team Hall of Famer. I don't know if you're ready for this one, Deej. I don't know if you saw this one. Swarm signed Travis Braveheart.
That's not fair. He shouldn't be allowed to play lacrosse.
Travis Braveheart.
With a name like Braveheart, that's what overtime is called at like the club level. And it's 1-on-1. It's literally like goalie and like one guy face off. And it's just that full field. Like, and
Braveheart is 2 names. So
yeah, Travis that's not fair. That is not fair. That's insane.
That's a great name.
That's insane. Now I got to figure out how to name my son something just off the wall, crazy good like that. Because the last name's obviously handled, but first name I can just go Bonkers.
Bonkers Hughes.
I don't think that works.
Let us know in the YouTube comment section. Might be an Alaskan namesake right there.
I'm gonna name him Yardiel so he can play baseball. Yardy going yard.
They got baseball in Alaska.
Yardy going yard, bro. It's right there.
He's gonna be hitting home runs to Russia.
Yep. Yardy going yard, baby.
Yardy no. Colorado Mammoth signed Jalen Chaster and Owen Down, both to 2-year deals. Calgary Roughnecks signed Derek Lloyd to a 1-year deal. Kyle Buchanan going back to Buffalo on a 1-year deal. Albany signed Matt Duncan to a 2-year deal and Jackson Reed to a 1-year deal. And the Vegas Desert Dogs have signed Zach Cole and Joe Post to 2-year deals. I don't believe I missed anything else. That all coming to you from the transaction wire. Jack Hanna did re-sign with the Vegas Desert Dogs. Looking here, anything
Kevin Crowley.
else? Oh yeah, Kevin Crowley, the big cat, going to Vancouver, which is a huge move. And then the Calgary Roughnecks, your Roughnecks, Deej, have a new head coach, Josh Sanderson, leaving the Seals to go back to Calgary, where he played 3 seasons from 2008 to 2010 and was a member of their 2009 championship team. The last bit.
Good move.
here.
Good move.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there, done that before.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Shout out to Big Cat. That was a deal that was rumored last year of him going to Vancouver, but got a deal from San Diego that he just could not refuse. So that's why he went to the Seals last year, but he's going home. He's got a lot of stuff growing with Fusion West up in Vancouver, and he's always wanted to play at home, and that's the Kurt Malosky effect, baby. I think that also played a huge part for Big Cat going home. Gets to play with his boy Logan Schuss. So very excited for Kevin Crowley to be playing in front of the BC faithful. That's all we got for you guys. Make sure you're following us at OTB Laxpod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. You need to get 600 subscribers before the end of August. Got to come through for the boy. Need 1,000 before September 4th. Otherwise, Alaska is calling.
Why'd you pick my birthday? You could have picked like your own or something.
Hey, I'm not subjecting myself to any of that.
Oh, but you subjected me. It's A-okay for me to do it.
You're young.
Oh, now I'm young. All right.
You've been young. What are you talking about?
I know. You're not old though. Don't try and make it like that.
We got about a month and a half, brother.
I'm screaming.
Get your merch, phiapparel.co. The throwback merch should be up hopefully sometime this weekend. I'm going to be sending that over to Tyler at PHI Apparel Company and getting that up for the people. And get your throwback merch. And for the real ones that get the reference, you get it. We've got our mascot. Let us know in the YouTube comment section a potential name for our throwback mascot. We'll figure out the best ones, sift through them. Maybe you name the OTB mascot there.
Did you make it a duck?
You just gave it away.
Damn, my bad.
But yes, I did make it a duck.
Just cut that part out.
I just put a long censor beep.
That'd be perfect.
Enjoy Throwback Weekend in Denver. PLL After Dark. We'll be tweeting and all that good stuff. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a doozy. Get your caffeine, East Coast people. And this has been episode number 287 of the allegedly award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, KB, we'll catch you guys next week as we get set for the biggest Lacrosse After Dark weekend in Seattle. Get that caffeine ready, folks. We will catch you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.